If you ventured into the world of Royal Icing covered sugar cookies, you have learned how important consistency is in your Royal Icing. So I wanted to make a little video and show you the kind of consistency I like to use when I'm piping and flooding my cookies with one consistency. A question I get asked a lot is, what is my consistency? How do I keep it so close to the edge of the cookie without it going over? So I just wanted to show you what I like to use in this video. So it's always important to let your icing sit for a little bit and let the air bubbles rise to the top. You can take a knife, as I'm doing here, run it over the top and pop some of those bubbles. And you're going to want to repeat this a few times over. It's a good idea to let it sit for maybe 20-30 minutes, and that way you can get all those air bubbles out. Now, when people talk about seconds when referring to icing, this is about a 20-second icing, and what that means is that after I've drawn a knife through the icing, it's going to take about 20 seconds for that line right there to disappear. And I might even call this 20 seconds with a shake, because I'm going to give it a little shake too to make sure it all goes flat. I'm using a 8-ounce bottle here by Sugar Bell, and my favorite tips are by PME. This is a 2.5 tip. I think this is a good size tip to pipe and flood with. You always want to check your consistency on a little piece of paper and make sure it's good to go. This might be a little bit loose to write with. It might be okay, but if I were writing, I'd probably use something a little bit stiffer. I'm going to give it a shake just to make sure it's going to fall flat for me on flooding, and then I will begin to flood. So I do like to pipe right to the edge of my cookie. I don't like any naked cookie showing, and that can be a total just artistic decision on what you like to do. But this is how I do it. I pipe and flood right from the same bottle, with the same tip. If you're going to use separate consistencies, you might pipe with a number 2 tip, go back and flood with a number 3 tip. And then because this is a thicker consistency, I'm going to give it a shake to get that flood icing to go flat, or something I like to do so I don't get my fingers in the edge of the cookie or the edge of the icing is I'll stick a scribe tool in the center of it and give it a little shake so that way I don't have to really handle the cookie. You can use the point of your scribe too to pop out any air bubbles that are in there or push down any peaks. So again, I'm just taking my time piping. I'm not going to speed up this video so you can see in real time what it looks like. It's not a quick process, as you know, but if your icing is a little bit thicker like this, you don't have to worry about it running over the edge of the cookie. If your flood icing is really thin and you try to do it like this right to the edge, you might get run over problems. So that's why I'm using a thick icing. And then again, this is the same bottle, same tip. I'm going back in and flooding, starting from the outside in. And if you do this right away, you won't see that outside edge or that outside piped line, because it will disappear into the flood icing. If you like the look of the outlined icing, you want to let that piping icing dry for a few minutes before you go back and flood. Or if you're doing like a contrasting color, let's say the outside pipe edge is going to be red, but the inside's going to be pink, that's when you would use 2 different bags or 2 different tips. So again, I'm just going to give it a little shake and push down any tips, pop any air bubbles, and then let this sit, and you're good to go. I'm going to put a link to my icing recipe and a longer video about consistency at the bottom of this video. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.